welcome to another podcast broadcast from high atop a mountain in northern Wyoming in the Bighorn Mountains. How's everybody doing? I'm still having the time of my life. Not doing very much at all, but finding myself and relaxing. Hello, Georgia. Welcome to Notorious Dad One. Did I get a new subscriber? Oh my goodness. I don't have very many of the. Well, I mean, or a member. I've got subscribers. I don't have a lot of members, but well, welcome, Georgia. Thank you very much. Um, Today I'm just going to talk about basically everything that I'm grateful for, and I've got to give a few stern warnings about. I've answered some emails today. Some people that I know, and a lot of people that I don't know, other than just their email correspondence. Are struggling really, really, really bad. And a lot of it's because of family court stuff. Oh, real quick, an update on my parents in Rio Doce, New Mexico. I finally heard from Dad today. He drove. Uh, he had to go drive quite a ways, but he finally got cell service. My parents are good. They weren't affected by the fire. Stayed just south of them. Um, the hail didn't do any damage. They got real lucky, but they're also very diligent about keeping all the brush cleaned up. So anyway, my parents are fine, but the people of Rio Doce, New Mexico are not fine. They just had a good, kind of like a big old good dose of family court. Their lives just got completely ruined, except it wasn't the family court. It was, Mother Nature. Well, I don't want to get into conspiracy theories about chemtrails and weather modification, HARP, and all that, but there's a lot of people that would normally not talk about that are starting to wonder because it is so dry. But anyway, not going to get off on that. Basically, I'm just going to be talking about things that I'm happy for and grateful for. Again, I did answer some emails today, and there's just so many people that are just they reach out to me, I assume, because it's nice to talk to somebody who's going through the same thing, even though I feel terrible because there's really nothing I can do. I shared some GoFundMe's. I do that occasionally, but a lot of my social medias, I'm so banned because I've got such a potty mouth on me. I pop off too much and I get banned for 30 days and then it bumps me down the algorithm. I mean, this channel here, I've got 500,000 subscribers and we got 12, 14 people watching. I don't have that much reach. And even if I did, I don't know what I could do. But I understand people, wanting to talk to me because when I was going through it, and I'm still kind of going through it. I'm not completely out of it, but I'm 95% done. All I lack is paying off the $46,000 extortion fee to my ex-wife. But I just hurt for these people, and before I get started on this, I'm trying to focus on things that bring a little bit of joy and happiness. Like yesterday, if you were here, you saw the little deer that came up. Well, as soon as I got off, those there's 5 of them total, but they don't always come at the same time. They came back and they're getting closer and closer. I'm kind of making friends with these deer. And so, but before I get into stuff like that, can we all just have an honorable thank you to the Hawktua girl for bringing such a good laugh. If you don't know what Hawktua means, just get on the internet and type in literally Hawktua. Just sound it out however you want to spell it. And watch the video of the girl getting interviewed on how to please a man. And it's the funniest thing I've seen in a long time. And the memes that were born from it, it just made me laugh. I mean, everybody, people of all different backgrounds, all different political background. It doesn't matter what your background. I don't know anybody that hadn't laughed at it. It's just hilarious. So, Hawk to a girl, good job. Thanks for making the world laugh. We sure needed it. Um, for the newcomers here, I'll get to the questions. It just kind of works out better if I just kind of run my mouth and talk about what I want to talk about, and then I'll get in. I'll answer any questions that I can, except how my cheerings are doing. other than to say they're doing fine. I don't talk about them because there's just they're private. They keep they have a private, they have their private lives. But yeah, I got off on the live yesterday, and those little deer came right back. And I'm not kidding. They got within 15 feet of me. I wouldn't have had a much of an effort. I could have tossed a rock and hit them if I wanted. I didn't even have to throw it very hard. But last night it got chilly, but it was only about, I'm guessing, about 43, 44 degrees. The night before it got to right around freezing. And I got chilly. I got so chilly that I'd brought my little heater, my little water boiler thing in the tent. I don't know why I put it in there. I guess, yeah, it rained one night and it gets wet and it doesn't ruin it. You just have to shake the water out and it's hard for it to light. But I lit it this morning, or maybe I did it first yesterday morning. I can't remember. Yeah, I did it first yesterday. I was so cold. I mean, I was in my sleeping bag and I was okay. But you got to get out and pee or stretch or whatever. And I was just freezing, so I just decided to light it, and I did. And the tent's so little, it didn't. Within just a few seconds, it was already heating it up. But then I'd turn it off, and the heat would go away. So I didn't want to just leave it running because there's $10 per one of those cylinders. And I just so happened to put a little rock, like a flat rock. Like I've got one right here. They're everywhere, but it's not this one. But it's just like this, flat, about yay big. Here I've got my. Let me unplug this. Turn y'all around. This little lighter, lantern, whatever you want to call it, you just light it. This is what I put my coffee in or my oatmeal. I just lit that sucker up and it was heating up fine, but it would just dissipate so fast. I literally just stuck the rock on there like that. 2 minutes. I was just sitting there touching it. And in the first minute, I didn't feel anything. And finally, after about 2 minutes, I finally started feeling it getting warm. So I killed it. And the room stayed warm enough. And it was like a hot potato. Like not hot enough to burn you if, just barely touching it. But if you held on to it for more than 5 seconds, it'll burn you. So I just wrapped it in a little t-shirt that I had. And I placed it right on my chest and got back all cuddled up in my little super duper insulated sleeping bag. And oh my goodness, that sucker kept me warm for an hour or a little over an hour. And then it starts getting light about 4:30 here, 4:45, real early. But I've been going to bed at like 8, so I wake up at like 1 or 1:30 in the morning. And so as soon as it cooled off, I just turned on another episode of House and heated my rock back up and put it for 2 minutes and put it back on me. And I know what I'm doing sounds like just insane crazy to some people. But desperate times call for desperate measures. And the Title IV defunded family court wrecked me so bad. It took me almost 2 decades to get out. That's just the divorce part. I mean, the divorce itself took 10 months to get. I got sued every other year for 10 years with delay after delay after delay. Fine after fine after fine. As soon as I got out of jail, I got jailed for 60 days. Pay her lawyer $10,000 or $20,000 within 10 days of getting out of jail. You're going back to jail. And the reason I'm doing all this is I'm just fed up. I'm tired. I'm getting old. I'm tired. I'm glad I sobered up. August 21st will be 4 years I've been sober, and that helped. But then I still had a gut, so then I got to the gym. Well, that helped. Then I started hiking. Well, that helped. Well, I'm still broke, or not broke, but broker than I want to be at this age, considering how hard I've worked. So desperate times call for desperate measures. I literally sold what little I had left, except for my little $2,500 hoopty over there, and threw it all in the crypto market. And I'm just rolling the dice across my fingers and Um, Living literally rent free on public land. I can legally stay here for 14 days at a time. Then I got to pack and leave for one day, and then I can come right back and stay for another 14 days. And I see why they do that. They don't want just a bunch of vagrants, trashing the place and turn it into Hooverville or something. So that's literally what I'm doing, living rent free. I'm living as absolutely as cheap as anybody could possibly live. And it's a little humiliating if I think about it long enough. At the same time, I'm not ashamed of what I'm doing because I'm not claiming to be a perfect person. But I firmly believe I don't deserve what happened to me in the family court. My kids certainly don't deserve it. And there's some struggles there that I can't talk about, which is part of what's weighing on my heart, which is why I'm trying to keep positive and just be thankful for what little I've got left, because there's a lot of people that have it a lot harder than me. My inboxes stay full of people giving me their stories, and I tried to make a business out of it if I could, because my time is worth something. But I've said this for I've shut it all down because I've said this for years. If your problem is so bad that you're ready to come to me for help, you're broke anyways. I couldn't make a business out even if I wanted to. And I made a little. I talked to a few people, but I just don't. It never sat right with me because I don't feel right taking money from people that are struggling like I've struggled. Because I didn't have money to pay, $50 or $100 to talk to somebody that had already been through. I didn't have it. Still don't. So anyway, I shut that down. I've got what little my YouTube channel pays, and I've got my investment, and I'm just rolling the dice and hoping for the best. But again, my best advice for people to not wind up like me: if you're already married and divorced and you've knocked her up or you got knocked up by that loser, then you might as well just binge watch my YouTube channel, and 9 times out of 10, that's going to be your life for the next 18 years. If you're fortunate enough to still be single and not have a child on the way that is by some person that you don't really even know that well, that's my suggestion. I would also, if you're ever tempted to start a family and just get pregnant real quick, or just marry her real quick and get her pregnant and marry her, binge watch my channel. Watch the Parker series, watch the Blaine series, and watch all the bullshit and all the podcasts I've done. And just so you know, 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100, if you get divorced and you're broke and you're making a baby in this current climate, it didn't always used to be this way, but in this current climate, watch my channel, and 9 times out of 10, that is going to be your fate. And I'm not saying it's right. I'm not even saying I agree with it. I'm just saying that's how it is. That's what's going to happen to you. If you're watching this and you know somebody who's thinking about starting a family or going through this, just say, this Caleb Everett guy, this dude I found on the internet, he's documented all the crap that's happened to him. And if you get divorced and you wind up in family court, you're going to get screwed. And even if you're on the receiving end of the child support, just know the family court is not there for the best interest of the child. It's just not. That's what they say because that sounds good. It's like politicians. They always say they're going to run on this platform and I'm pro this and I'm anti this and I'm going to do this for you. And they're all liars. You think family courts are any different? Have any of y'all bothered looking up Title 4D of the Social Security Act passed in the early 70s that I've been talking about for years? The thing that promotes and funds all of this family court junk. It's not fun reading. It's cumbersome. It's boring, but that's what causes all this. This is a debt system that is put in purpose, on purpose, to take advantage of, to squeeze as much wealth out of a divorcing family as possible. We are all wage slaves, whether you want to admit it or not. Granted, in this country, chattel slavery was outlawed 150 something years ago, but make no bones about it, every single one of us are all wage. I don't know if y'all can hear me or not. I have no idea. Stream is down. Let me know if y'all can hear me. Dead gummit. I see Vaporman stream is down. Panel, it's froze. Addie, hi, I'm from Oklahoma. We can hear you. Email Bacon. Okay. Y'all, I think I'm just going to keep talking because it's not going to change, but it's just going to be me talking and nothing else. I can hear Georgia, I can hear you, but I can't. I don't know why it does this. About every other day, it decides to do this. I've literally got 3 bars, and I don't know why it does this. Email Bacon, it's glitchy. Leonardo Hernandez, he's okay. I just don't talk about it. Cuts in and out sometimes. That's okay. Keep going. Maybe restart. I've done restart too many times, and okay. I can almost text your number. I can hear you, just can't see. All right. If y'all can generally hear 90% of what I'm saying, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. If you got 3 bars, you got 3 bars. I mean, that's always been good enough for me. Jason May, what am I doing with my life? I'm sitting here telling you, Mighty May. Just let me know, Jason May. Are you the Jason May, the step simp daddy of my cheerings, or you just unfortunately have the same name? I'd love. All right, I'm going to start at the beginning and just go through again. Thank you, Georgia, for the becoming a member of a Notorious Dad Level 1. I'm going to do my best to make it worth your while. Oh yeah, let me know while I'm reading these. Let me know. I've successfully made my second semi-professional thumbnail. So I promise I am working on this. I'm trying to get better at this. Uh, Bellarmino Martinez. Hello, Caleb. Dannon says hello. Panna, are you grateful for anything from today? Yep, sure am. I'm grateful that it is not hot here where I'm at, and it's really hot everywhere else. South Texas is getting flooded. Georgia again says, hey, Caleb. Mr. Muscles. Hello, Mr. Sir. Hello, Mr. Muscles. Sandra Pennington. Hi, Caleb. It's beautiful there. It absolutely is. Mr. Muscles, aren't you afraid of bears? I have a healthy respect for bears, but fortunately, the locals tell me that there are very few, if ever any, grizzlies here. And grizzlies are the only one, or brown bears. I think there's a difference in grizzlies and brown, a slight difference, but there's no grizzlies or browns here, but there are black bears, and generally speaking, black bears are, I'm told by the locals, generally not interested in humans. They see us and they just want to run. Epic Roller, hi, haven't caught a live in a while. Hello, Epic Roller. Mr. Muscles, your ex-wives are more scary. Well, my second one, she's fine. I mean, it hurt when she left, but Samantha and I are fine. I mean, she didn't. We were both young and confused, and she's fine now. My kid's mother, that's a whole different story. Dorian Mabry, hello, Mr. Dorian. What's up, Caleb? How's it going? I'm still chilling. It got up to about 70 or maybe 72, but then the clouds came, and I imagine it's about down to 60, 63. It's just chilly enough I need one jacket enough, but not chilly enough that I need 2. Mini PewDiePie. Hi, Caleb. Email Bacon, what's up? I'm going to eat some chicken and rice soon. You want some? Yep. Yeah, bring it on over. Panda, did you actually sell the place in Okeechobee? I sold one of them. I bought another one right around the corner from Blaney Boo, but he's still in the original one. OMG, I'm your biggest fan. English or Spanish? I speak primarily English, but I was raised around a lot of Spanish speakers and worked with them. And poquito más. Habla, yo hablo español poquito. I know that's not right, but Mini PewDiePie English. Jason May, what are you doing with your life? I'm surviving your current wife. If you are in fact the stepfather of my children, punk. Charles Haynes, howdy again. Hello, Charles. Addie, hi, I'm from Oklahoma. Okay, Froze, Vaporman, email bacon, Vaporman. Charles Haynes, I can hear you. Terry S. Hello, Terry. Yes. Jason Harrison. Yes. Dan and blank screen. I can hear you, Georgia, but I can't see you. It's glitchy. All right, I've read a bunch of those. It cuts in and out sometimes. It's okay. Keep going. All right, that's about where left off. Jason May, again, what are you doing with your life? I'm surviving your wife. That's exactly what I'm doing to the best of my ability. The Fisted Waffle Z, I got a black screen, homie. Can hear everything you say, though. Y'all, I'm just going to keep going. I don't know what else to do other than just keep going. I'll keep trying to figure out. The first week I did this, it didn't do it. It started doing it like a week ago, and I've restarted it several times. But I just don't want to keep having to redo that. It just gets so. Okay, Jason May, I just got here. My name is Jason May from Alaska. Okay. Sorry, other Jason May. You're not the one I thought you were. Oh, you're big. I'm glad you're a good sport about it, man. Okay, Charles Haynes says I can hear you a little bit, but you're glitching. Can't tell what you're saying. All right, I'm gonna. Dan, love the thumbnail, the fisted waffle. Hope you're having a good day, my man. Keep up the good work. Hard work, it'll pay off. If it hasn't already, I'm trying. I think it will. Dan and I need very terribly to move up north. I think so. If you can't stand the heat, it fried my brain, and I've just had enough of it. I can't stand it. Uh, Fighting the traffic and the heat, and it just seems to get hotter and hotter and hotter and lasts longer and longer. And being up here, as long as you're at 75, 7,000 feet and above in a northern latitude, then it's nice. I still haven't sweat. Panna, someone is bitter. Who are you talking about, Panna? Charles Haynes, I'm sorry about that. Panna, what are some things you're grateful for? I'm grateful that I finally popped my head out of my ass and stopped being so effing naive. That's one thing I posted on my Facebook today for my profile picture. It just dawned on me. Being out here, I've learned to stop trusting just about anyone and everyone and only trust myself. I do believe that God is healing me and giving me the opportunity to heal my body, ground myself, talk to these deer and this little squirrel that occasionally comes up to my the foot of my hammock. Um, my whole life, I'm way too trusting by nature. I just trust people. You tell me something is the way it is. When I was younger, I just believed you. I get accused of being a liar all the time, but it's just, believe it or not, it's just not my nature. I'd rather, especially now, I'd rather hurt somebody's feelings and tell them the brutal, honest truth. But I was told things by the church, things by my kid's mother, and I believed everything that I was told till death do us part. And I believed all that horse crap, and now, it cost me dearly because I made decisions based on what I thought was the way I was supposed to do. Go to church and listen to the pastor and the preacher and believe all women, that sort of hoo-ah. And it bit me in the ass. And so I've learned that it's better to just trust myself. Just assume that all strangers you meet, now I know not all strangers are bad or liars, but I just don't trust anybody, ultimately. Terry S., being out in nature is healing. It sure is to me. Georgia, I thought I'd come on and say hey, but I'm gonna have to come off since it's pretty late here where I live. Where are you from, Georgia? I think you might have told me, but I've got a lot of people on here from all over, and I don't remember. I assume you're probably in England, but that's just a guess. And I will say this: the brutal, honest truth really does make some people not want to talk to you. Yep, no one likes to have honest conversation these days. Yeah, I've learned that, Panna. Most people say they want the truth, but what I've come to realize is most people simply want a reaffirmation of what they currently believe to be the truth. That's what they want to hear. Because that old saying, the truth hurts. Well, when you tell the truth, that the reason people lie is because it hurts. Now, some people lie because they don't want to hurt. They don't want to, like, you cheat on your wife. You know it's going to hurt her, and maybe you shouldn't have done it, and maybe you'll never do it again. Who knows? You don't want to tell her because you know it'll hurt her. So you do care about her still, so you don't want to hurt her. Sometime the guy might cheat on his wife, or a woman cheat on her husband. She's not going to tell him because it'll mean divorce and pain for the kids. He might cheat and doesn't want to tell her because he didn't want to lose half his shit and ruin his kid's life. So people are always motivated to lie, whether it's out of love for somebody, because they like little white lies you tell your kids. It's not that you want to lie to your kids, but some things are just adult things. You just give them little white lies so they don't worry. So, but if you told them the truth, yeah, technically you're being honest and you're telling the truth, but depending on the situation, it'll hurt them because they'll just little kids will worry about things that they can't comprehend and understand. Leonardo Hernandez, wishing you and your family good health. Sorry if I got too personal with the question. It's quite all right. I understand new people come in all the time about Parker, but I wish you and your kids the best. God bless, brother. Well, Leonardo Hernandez, thank you. And again, it's nothing personal. Sometimes I get aggravated, and I shouldn't. I don't know why I do, but I just get asked that all the time, and I just simply can't talk about their private lives. But no harm, man. Georgia, I'm from the UK. I kind of figured. I thought so. One of these days, I'm going to get my passport and I'm going to go visit UK. I promise. And I'm going to go see all of it. I might spend a whole month there. Hannah, I'm going to give you rabies. Ew, why? Yeah, don't give me rabies. Terry, as the cult church I was raised in caused PTSD for many, including my family. I am not surprised, Terry. I don't know if you were on here a day or two ago when I was talking about um, the scammers. I made three different categories, although there's lots of them. I was gonna the scammers that a lot of women fall for, and I was warning them, and the scammers a lot of men fall for, warning them, and then the universal scammer that gets pretty much everybody universally equally, and that is generally the church. Obviously, not all churches are like that, but I dare say the vast majority of them are. Um, it's I just don't trust them any more than I trust politicians. Again, I'm not against someone preaching. I mean, hell, arguably get on here and preach all the time, but I don't go to seminary and get a professional preaching degree in order to get a 401k and a job and a company ride that belongs to the church and suck all that money from all the people and once a quarter, once a half, once a year, give a big old preaching about the tithing, what the Old Testament says about give 10% to the Lord and guilt people that are swimming in debt because we lived in this central bank, Federal Reserve, private bank run, debt run society and guilt them into giving 10% before taxes, not after taxes, and just passing that damn plate around. I think it's wrong. I think it's morally bankrupt. And I just don't have a lot of respect for pastors and preachers that do that shit. I think the vast majority of them are con artists, even if they don't realize it. Some of them think they're doing the right thing, if you take a paycheck and you con people into guilt tripping them into putting more money in the plate, it all revolves around money. Just passing the plate in public. People are so shallow and fickle. They're going to judge, well, how much was that check that old John boy over there? Did he write enough? Or I saw so and so, he just put two $1 bills. Are you telling me that he only made 20 bucks this week? He only says 10% is just $2. And you get all kind of gossiping and bitching and grapping. I just don't think that's the way to go. I don't think that's at all what Jesus had in mind when he's talking about the church. Oh, sorry for that rant, but Terry, you brought it up. Panna, there are instances where honesty is better, though. It is my classic, very intelligent opinion that honest conversations can save a lot of relationships, not just talking about romance. Yeah, you better. You better have, before you get serious about anybody, you need to have these honest conversations. You need to find out things that bug them. You need to let them know your pet peeves. You need to let them know these weird things that you hide from the real world that you don't want anybody to see. And you need to let them know up front, because if you're not honest about it and you drop this shit on them after the ink is signed, the government contract is signed, you're just begging for it. You're asking for problems. So I agree, Panda. Jason Harrison, how can you tell that? I'm sorry, I'm not. When I'm delayed on, you'll have to finish out the question, because when I get delayed, I don't know. I'm not sure what I was talking about. Charles Haynes, hey, it's good to see you again. I'll be back tomorrow. Man, I gotta go. Take care, Mr. Charles. Panna, something tells me you loved Riggs, but not Masuka. Oh, Masuka, we never got real close, but yeah, old Riggsy Poo. I don't know if I know Panna was here yesterday. I think Mazin was. I know Dana was. I got a little choked up telling the story about old Riggsy Poo, and he died. What would make a pastor someone who actually does the right thing in your eyes? Um, if you're a man of your household and you happen to be a Christian, you are the pastor. Your flock is your wife and your children. You protect them and you teach them your values. Um, Farming it out to a big mega church is as bad as farming your education of your children out to American public schools, which was taken over by the Rockefellers back in the freaking, I don't know, 20s or something. Public schools and public churches, to me, they're equally untrustworthy. I'm not saying all teachers that work for public school are bad. They're not. I'm not saying that all preachers who actually even take a check are all bad. They're not. But chances are, if you're farming all that out to other people, there's always going to be greed. There's always going to, like, I lived through as a child and a young adult, two different church splits. And the church is split because men and women wound up fucking people that they shouldn't have been fucking. And I'm sorry if that's a little blunt, but sometimes you got to be blunt. That's what happened. Unless you were in the know, you didn't know that. On the surface, it was it was a debate over philosophy or interpretation of scripture or budgeting for the church. But when it really came down to it, married men were sticking their dicks in other married women who weren't their wives. And that's just what happens. And I know that's really blunt and that's really crude, but that's just what happens. It's no different than any other social situation. I'm gonna. I think I've talked about this topic of cheating before, and I might have even talked it since I've restarted doing this, but I may bring it up as a standalone topic. But I firmly believe The vast majority of human beings at some point or another cheat. And it's hard for a topic to talk about if you're married and it has happened, whether your spouse knows or not. It's hard. It's just, well, I know I did. I talked about it last week. Yeah, I did. But again, that's just one of those things that goes back to telling the truth. That is the truth. Whether you want to admit or not, most people cheat at some point in their life. Can you live with it? A lot of women say they can more than men. Obviously, some women I know lose their shit and the fists start flying and hair gets pulled and eyes get gouged. But the vast majority of men that I knew growing up, and me personally, I'm not putting up with it. I did put up with it, and I'm embarrassed that I did, and I never will again. It's part of the reason I'm still single now is because if you're single, you can't get cheated on. And that's just something I don't ever have to worry about. And I'm probably fucked up and damaged, but oh well. Panna, do you think kids should be homeschooled? Yep, absolutely, 100%. Only in the last 100, maybe 150 years has public school been a thing. I mean, I know universities have been around, but 200 years ago and before, if you raised children, I mean, yeah, I know that obviously there's different types of school, but it was just normal. You lived on a farm, you raise kids, you teach them yourself. But public school is anything but healthy. There's an agenda. It's a brainwashing. They call it public indoctrination centers for a reason. Because I mean, look at our public schools. All this DEI crap, diversity, equity, and inclusion, all this forced multiculturalism, in my opinion, is BS. That's just how I see it. Forcing people to get along that just come from different backgrounds. It's. I'm not saying you don't have friends that are different than you. I've got friends, I mean, people in here, they're all different than me, different backgrounds, different races, different genders. That's what I'm talking about. We're here because we want to be. We choose to be. Y'all choose to show up, listen to this white boy talk. Um, but forcing people to forced integration and then tax this group to subsidize this group, well, everyone's on different intellectual levels, and some people may not misunderstand what money's being appropriated for what. Others may dislike the whole, I can't say the word, the unaliving the baby in the womb word. A lot of people have a strict, hardcore stance that they will not allow their tax money. It's one thing to pay for defense or pay for roads with tax money, but it's another thing for a lot of people, and I happen to be one of them, that pays for the offing of the unborn child, their tax money. They vehemently disagree with it, and so I'm kind of getting off on a little bit of a tangent there, but yeah, homeschool your kids, teach them, they're your kids. Raise your kids how you want your kids to be raised. Raise them with your values, not some bureaucrats' tax funded values. Because little kids are impressionable. That's why they do it. When you brainwash an entire society and tell them that single motherhood is a great thing, then they grow up believing that crap. Well, if you keep your kids home and stay with your wife, stay with your husband, honor your wife, honor your husband, raise your children with your values, they generally come up and get raised with your values. Why would you want to farm that out to, a public school? Do you think if less people cheated ever, would marriages last more? I mean, some people are always going to cheat. Um, I think if people were more educated and we're not incentivized to leave and see a shiny new object and you go, oops, squirrel, and go, if people actually had to work for their money, if people had to appreciate just how dangerous this world is and just how hard people have to work in order to make a buck, I just don't think it would be as prevalent. There's no way you'll ever stop it completely. And I believe that schools do not want kids to have healthy communication with one another. Um, I don't know. I do know that they, or in my opinion, I don't think they want people to question things. They want you to memorize the rules and regurgitate exactly what you're told to do. They don't want generally, and George Carlin talked about this in a famous stand up bit about public schools and how screwed they are. They want obedient workers. People are just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork and collect the taxes, but just dumb enough to realize how badly the red, white, and blue's been bending them over and fucking them up the ass and taxing the piss out of them. This country was founded because a few people got sick and tired, or they protested like a 2% T tax. There's no such thing as sales tax. There's no such thing as, maybe certain sales tax. There's import taxes. That's how the government was funded. There sure as hell wasn't any such thing as income tax or property tax. And now you got fuel tax and excise tax and hotel tax and telecommunication tax and tax. And you got all these representatives like Nancy Pelosi. They're supposed to make like 175 or 185,000 a year, and they stay in Congress for a lifetime. They leave, and Nancy Pelosi is openly mocked. Like, there's memes about this. She's the world's greatest stock market Wall Street trader in history. She just, how does that woman just get so lucky? I mean, she stays drunk all the time, and she just gets lucky over and over and over. There's a Twitter handle that I think it's something like Trade Like Pelosi or something like that. They literally watch all her investments, and every time she buys, they publish it. When they sell, they publish it. You know, it's that way you can trade like Nancy because she's a congressperson. She's obviously makes the rules that and votes on it, that makes the rules that we all have to go by, and she's got insider trading information. I think people left because of the blank screen. Yeah, I think so too. And it's okay. Wendy, my screen is black, but the internet has been acting up today. Don't know why. It's my end, Wendy. I think it's. I got in about 15 minutes and it just froze up again, and I just didn't want to restart it because I'm not showing anything anyways. But it's just me. I'm just gonna have to work on it. That's all I know to do. So God made a farmer just smoked a fat coon. And that Stephen Hawking's phrase, pretty relaxed in the shoulders right about now, a little elevated. All right, so God made a farmer. I'm glad you burned a doobie. Zailed what? Wendy McConaughey, your handsome face. Oh, hush. You're just trying to make me blush, Wendy. Um, I'm sorry about the video. I don't know what else I can do. I've still got the same 3 bars that I had when it froze. I realize a lot of people left, and I get it. All I know to do is try again tomorrow. Maybe I need to I think tomorrow, I usually close out all my apps, but tomorrow before I go on, I'll close out all my apps and I'll reset my phone before and see if that helps. So, and I tasted alcohol once, I spat it out. Good. Wendy will be here. Shay, hi, I really like your hair. My old gray hair. Well, I think we've since half the people have left. I'm probably going to just call this a day, y'all. Again, I'm sorry about the video. There's nothing I can do about it. I'll try my best to fix it on the best I can on my end. I think tomorrow's Friday. I think I need to take off just because generally most people are busy Friday because unlike me, a lot of people have a life and they go do stuff with their significant other or their friends or something. And It's just not something I've done much of in my life. But I think I'll. Nope, not doing an update on Parker. Parker's doing just fine, but I don't talk about my cheerings. I think I'm going to take off tomorrow. If I do come on, it may not be at 5. Sometimes I just get inspired and I just want to feel like a run in my mouth. I'll tell you what. For the time being, just count on Sunday through Thursday, guaranteed 5 p.m. Mountain Time, which would be 7 p.m. Eastern or 4 p.m. Pacific or midnight UK time. But on Friday and Saturday, I'm either going to take off completely or I may just pop on for a little bit, talk about whatever's on my mind at random times. Might be midnight, might be 5 o'clock in the morning. I have no idea. And I may not come on at all. So, anyways, thanks everyone for whoever's the ones that stuck around. I'm sorry this just kind of sucked today because it sucks that video, but I shall see y'all either randomly tomorrow or Saturday. If not, for sure Sunday. Y'all take care. Consider not hitting your cheerings. Bye, Wendy. Good night.